Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Gaming Dew, and today it's time for my next double movie review. Yay! I said yay sarcastically because one of the movies we have today to talk about is not gonna be too fun, admittedly. But the other one, you'll see my opinion on it in a second, or in a few minutes. Today we are going to be doing a double movie review on Morbius and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. We're going to be starting with the one released first in order and the one to come out first, Morbius. And general consensus for this film is that it's terrible. It's god awful. It's one of the worst comic book movies of all time, and I was like, I can't believe it. This is really one of the worst comic book movies of all time. So yeah, I saw it in theaters and it's not good. It's not a very good movie at all. There's very little that's good about this movie. But I wouldn't say it's the worst comic book movie I've ever seen. There's at least 5 or 6 other comic book movies, mostly from DC, honestly, that are way worse than this. Catwoman, the Daredevil movie from 2003, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Suicide Squad from 2016, Batman and Robin. There are just so many other comic book movies that are way worse than this. But I can probably say this is the worst comic book film in like 5 years or so. Alright, let's get into why Morbius is not the worst film in the world with a couple of positives. Michael Morbius, played by Jared Leto, wasn't deep fried dog shit or anything. It was admittedly it was probably below average still, but there was a couple of funny scenes with him, and the scene when he first became Morbius the vampire, I admit, was pretty cool and was the best part of the movie. But we'll get into why that wasn't that great either, even that. Matt Smith's character was also a pretty good highlight of the movie. He was funny. Actually, he probably was the funniest character in the movie. It's cool to see Tyrese Gibson, I guess. Yeah, that's about it. I'm sorry, that's about my only 3 positives for Morbius. Morbius is kind of a freaking mess. It's not one of my least favorite movies of all time or anything, but this is by far and wide the worst movie of the year so far. And if this came out in 2021, this would have been the worst film of 2021. This film has a lot of problems. First things first, let's just get it out of the way. This film's effects look like dog shit. Oh my god. Even just the way he floats through like the subway in that one scene, it looks so freaking fake. I'm dead serious. The effects look like they come out in like the mid 2000s or something like that. We're in 2022. We shouldn't have effects that look 15 years old in a movie this year. That's ridiculous, and it's disgusting, quite frankly. Why I said Morbius was below average is because while he had some scenes where I liked his character, for the most part, he wasn't that great of a character. I'm gonna say Jared Leto did his best, but I'm going to say 6 out of 10 times he kind of failed. And it's just that his performance is kind of stale. It's just not fun to watch or anything. And I get that he's not supposed to be fun, but I'm never really invested in his character. I was never invested on if he was going to get with his, I don't know if it was his girlfriend or his, co-worker or something like that, but that was a little bit weird in and of itself, but I was never invested with that. I was never invested with him trying to save his best friend, played by Matt Smith. His character just never invested in me. As much as I like seeing Tyrese Gibson in movies, just because of, I don't watch the show anymore, but I remember him from that one episode of Blue's Clues, the Christmas special. Um, as cool as it was to see him again, his performance wasn't that great. Neither was the other cop. Um, oh God, the opening, the scene right after the opening where they're like kids and stuff like that. I dozed off twice. I didn't fall asleep, but I closed my eyes for like 2 or 3 seconds, like I was about to fall asleep twice. It was pretty freaking insufferable. It was not insufferable, it was freaking boring. It was hard to sit through. It got like a grain of salt level better when they were adults again, but not that much. Um but we got to talk about one of the worst parts of the movie, if not the worst part of the movie. Worst part of the movie, in my opinion, this has to be one of the worst endings out of any film I have ever seen. Holy fucking shit. So basically, it's unknown. I think it's implied that Matt Smith's character died when Morbius tried to save him. And then because he bit his girlfriend a few minutes before that, she became a vampire. And then basically he rises up and flies into the sky after that happens. You see the girlfriend's eyes glow up in red. That's the end of the movie. What the fuck is that? I don't understand the ending. What does that even imply? Seriously. Like, this is seriously one of the worst movies. It has no substance. It has no story to it. It's like right after the main villain dies, Morbius basically rises up and the movie ends. What in the name of... I don't even know. It's freaking confusing as all hell. And the post-credits scene. While it's cool seeing... Definitely it's cool seeing Michael Keaton as the Vulture. I know, that's spoilers, but you saw in the title of the video, don't blame me. Plus, why would you really care about being spoiled for Morbius? You see Michael Keaton in this universe, and then he meets Morbius in his suit. That was probably the best part of the movie, but still. I would have rather him stayed in the Tom Holland universe. Morbius is a mess. It's got a lot of huge problems, such as really dated effects, a mostly stale performance as Morbius, a confusing and terrible as fuck ending that makes this film not good at all. But Matt Smith's character was entertaining, and sometimes so was Morbius. And it's nice to see Tyrese Gibson again, so I think a D is pretty fair. I am not giving it any higher than that. This movie is mostly pretty bad. It's to the point where I'd probably call it a bad movie, with some silver lining, but there's not much to say of this film. Alright, up next, will a movie about a blue hedgehog, orange fox, and a red echidna be better than this film? Probably. But you'll find out in a second. Alright, next we're going to be talking about a sequel to a film I saw in theaters, the last film I saw in the movie theater prior to the pandemic happening, and the last film I've seen at my local theater, as it closed down pretty much because of the pandemic. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, I'll give you a recap on what I thought of the first movie. I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. It was in my top 3 for 2020 films. Let's just put it like that. I wasn't a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan when that came out, as it was never really grabbed my attention. I don't know. But I was actually pretty excited for this film, as I loved Jim Carrey in the role as Robotnik. I liked the whole little adventure with Tom and Sonic, and honestly, it was just a good time at the movies for me. I even got the Blu-ray like a week or so after it came out. So, what do I think of the second film? It's even better than the first one. I can't lie and say I had a great time with this film, and I freaking wish I saw this instead of Morbius, if I'm being honest, in the theater. Why did I choose Morbius instead of this in the theater? Because I would have actually have had a good time with a actually good movie. Is this the best movie of all time? No. But it's much more enjoyable than Morbius, and let's get into the reasons why. Because there's less of them, let's get into the negatives first. My biggest negative is there's a 15-20 minute period of the movie that has just the human characters with Tom and his wife and her sister, and she's getting married to this one guy, and it turns out that he's some part of federal agents or something like that, and then they capture Sonic and Tails and Tom, and that whole part of the movie was the worst part. I was like, can we just get back to the story between Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Robotnik? Seriously. It's to the point where I almost thought maybe Sonic could have kind of split off from Tom and his wife in this film. And that, while I like them, I like James Marsden, and I don't know the actress's name, but they're good. I still think this should have been a primarily Sonic movie, which it is. It still is, but I'm hoping Sonic 3, maybe he finally grows up and moves out or something like that. And then he goes off on his own with Tails and Knuckles, and then, spoiler alert, if you didn't see it, the post-credits scene hints at Shadow the Hedgehog. Maybe he goes ahead and fights Shadow the Hedgehog, as he'll be the main antagonist of the third film. Because I don't think Robotnik's dead. What happened to him was freaking terrible, a robot fell on him, but still. I still think he was in... Well, he did have the Chaos Emerald in him, and he got it taken away, and Sonic became Super Sonic. That was fun. That was an awesome scene to see. Even as not such a huge fan of the series, and I've only really played the first 3 games, it was still awesome to see that. How about the rest of the characters? Tom was pretty good. Pretty much the same as I thought of him in the first film. He wasn't amazing or anything. Sonic was a huge improvement. I thought he was pretty good in the first film, but sometimes he got a little tiny bit annoying. He never really annoyed me at all in this film. Tails, I wish there was a little more of him in the film. Like, he kind of just goes away in the third act of the film, and then it's just Sonic versus Knuckles. However, we gotta talk about the two best characters in the film, Knuckles and Robotnik. Robotnik is just as good as he was in the first film, really entertaining. I just love his robot noises. When he did that again, that made me chuckle. Um, the whole fungi planet opening was really entertaining, and he meets Knuckles, and they're basically a team now, sort of like Sonic and Tails were kind of in the second act of the film. Um, that was really entertaining, but Knuckles might have overtaken Robotnik. If I had to pick my favorite Sonic character, period, I would probably pick Knuckles. He's just a freaking badass. I don't know. Something tells me that I'll like Shadow the Hedgehog too, but for now it's Knuckles. He's freaking awesome. And in this film, he did not disappoint. He was awesome. He sort of reminds me of, I forgot who said it, but I totally agree with who said this. Some person on YouTube. He sort of reminds me of Drax in the first Guardians of the Galaxy film, which is awesome. That's top 5 favorite movie of all time for me. I love the original Guardians of the Galaxy, but he sort of reminded me of that. Just the whole adventure that Sonic and Tails go on reminds me of um the Sonic games. Even though I've really only played the first 3, it reminds me of those games. Um Also, the fight at the end with Sonic and Knuckles was freaking epic, and then basically after Robotnik stabs Knuckles in the back and betrays him, him and Sonic become friends and they all go against Robotnik. Robotnik is somebody who you just love to hate in this film, but you also love him because he's freaking hilarious. Um, the ending was kind of nice, but you know what? I was kind of hoping that he was going to go off with go the fuck away, Snapchat. Anyways, that I wish Sonic kind of went off with Tails and Knuckles at the end of the film on his own. Maybe they would have explored different Sonic worlds. I know I'm taking this kind of off of Cody Leach, but that was what I was thinking of since the beginning. But it's okay. I'm fine with seeing Tom and his wife and having them go on an adventure with Sonic maybe one last time. But in the next film, I'd like to see them split up and Sonic goes maybe to his own world so he can meet like Shadow, Silver, Amy Rose, and all the other characters. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was very entertaining. I'm sorry for that freaking Snapchat notification. I don't really use it, but I was pretty much forced to download it again by my cousin, so sorry about that, but yes, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is really entertaining and a really good time, just like the first film, and I even liked it a little bit more. If I did have my complaints, it's that I wish the whole wedding scene kind of didn't happen or was strongly reduced. And I kind of wish the third film would have led into it just being a Sonic character's film. But I digress. I still really like this movie, and I'm going to give it a B+. Really entertaining movie, and I highly suggest you check it out. So, that's about it, guys. I hope you guys liked this video. I certainly did. I had a really good time making this. I had a good time with one of the films I watched, and a pretty Oh my god, almost bad time watching the other one, but yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Stay tuned later this week for an Easter haul, a GD Plus Easter special, and my top 10 reasons Ohio is underrated, as we're doing the I-80 route on my geography videos. So yeah, I hope you guys like this. Gaming Jew here. See you later. Bye.